Alrighty, let's look at study link 5.1, multiplication and division puzzles, and this is everyday math 4th grade. And these are extended facts, and you need to line up the rows and the columns and figure out what is the product of these factors. So you can see the examples. 2 times 300 equals 600, 3 times 300 is 900, and so on, like that. So I think by 4th grade, most people understand how to do this, but we can look at it really quick just to understand it. So then 8 times 7 is 56, and 8 times 70 would be 560. 8 times 4 is 32, so 8 times 400 is 3,200. 9 times 70, well, 9 times 7 is 63, so 9 times 70 is 630, and 9 times 400 would be 3,600. So the next two should be pretty straightforward, number 2 and number 3. By the time you get down to number 4, it's a little bit different because you've got some of these boxes like normal, but you also have some of the factors missing, so you've got to use division to figure that out. So 7 times what equals 3,500? Well, just focus on 35 first, and 35 divided by 7, that's going to give you 5, but then you need those zeros to complete that. Okay? Over here, we have 600 times what equals 2,400? Well, think about 6 times what is 24, or 24 divided by 6. Okay, 24 divided by 6 is going to be 4. And do we need to add another number to that? Well, you have these two and these two, so I think you're okay. 4 times 600 is 2,400. And then just finish the rest. So 4 times 500. 4 times 5 gives you 20. And then those extra zeros come down. And 600 times 7. 6 times 7 is 42. And then the extra zeros there. And then for this other part where you're going to make up your own, just follow the same pattern, right? So these numbers should be something like a multiple of 10 or a multiple of 100. Just make sure you have zeros to finish it, right? So multiples of 10, multiples of 100, or 1,000 instead of just random numbers. And then to finish, we have some addition and subtraction, but for the first time on, at least from my class, we've got some decimals involved. So let's talk about this a little bit. When you're adding or subtracting something, you always line up the place value. If I were doing these problems, I wouldn't write them like this. I would have the hundreds, tens, and ones all lined up. So this is not how you would do it. This is what it would look like for these problems with the hundreds, tens, and ones places lined up, right? That rule stays when we're doing decimals, okay? Do you remember the place value for these? This is your ones place. This is tenths with a TH. This is hundredths with a TH. So I need to line up the places. And if you line up your decimals, the place values will be lined up. So I would write this nice and neat, and this one is the same way. And now I have my ones place, tenths place, and hundredths place. And those are written like that, by the way, with the TH. And then you just add them like you normally would. So if you think about this, if I had 9 tenths, like you have here, and 5 tenths, like you have here, and I added those together, I would just move one of these tenths over here, and now I have 1 and 4 tenths. Okay, so that it just works just like you normally would. So 6 hundredths plus 2 hundredths gives us 8 hundredths. Then, like we just did, and the decimal point stays where it is. So this is going to be 1 and 48 hundredths, or 1.48, when you add these two together. You simply line up the place values in the decimals and then add them up together. In subtraction, same idea. Make sure everything is lined up, and then you can just subtract 6 minus 3, 3 hundredths, 8 minus 7, 2 minus 1. Very straight and simple. Your answer is going to be 1 point something. I'll let you figure the rest of that out. The other one, not as simple, but we can make a trade. And here we can make a trade. 1 whole becomes 10 tenths, and the rest should be okay, but don't forget the decimal point stays there. So the answer